I need you to listen carefully. I need you to really sit with this, because nothing about what happened to me feels real until I say it out loud. Maybe that's why I'm recording it. Maybe I just want someone out there to hear this and confirm I didn't hallucinate the whole thing. Maybe I just want someone to tell me I wasn't responsible. But let me start at the beginning, before everything in my life split apart. I work nights, not because I want to, but because third shift pays slightly more and I needed the extra money. The hours warp you, twist you, stretch you thin until you barely feel connected to the rest of the world. You start sleeping at odd times, eating at odd times, drifting through your days like a ghost. You see your own reflection and think for half a second that someone else is standing there. Maybe that's why this all happened to me. Maybe the tape found me because I was already half unreal. It was around 3:15 a.m., the dead middle of my shift, when my phone buzzed. Not a message, not a call. An alert from the old security system in front of my house. Motion detected on the porch. I checked the camera feed and saw nothing. Just darkness. My porch light flickering like it was struggling to stay alive. I shrugged it off. Random false alert. It happens all the time. But when I got home at sunrise, something was there. A small cardboard box, soaked at the bottom with morning dew, sitting right on my welcome mat. No address. No sender. Just like someone walked up in the middle of the night, put it there, and vanished. Inside the box was a single VHS tape. A black sticker label stretched across the front. The handwriting shaky enough to look wrong somehow. Please don't fast forward. That was all. No date, no title, nothing else. I remember standing in my kitchen, staring at the tape like it might start breathing. I should have thrown it away, but something about it, something about the way the words were written, made me feel like the message wasn't a warning. It was a request. Almost like it was pleading. VHS is old tech, but I still had one of those combo TV VCR units in the garage that I used for digitizing old footage. I plugged it in, slid the tape inside, and hit play. Static. Long, heavy static, thick enough that it crackled like a fire. Then the image sharpened. Not fully, just enough to make shapes out of the noise. It was a room. My room. My bedroom, specifically, from a high angle near the ceiling, an angle that shouldn't exist because I don't have a camera in there. I don't have anything in there except a lamp, a nightstand, a dresser, and the bed I sleep in alone. On the screen, I was lying in bed asleep. The timestamp in the lower left corner said the footage was from 3 nights ago. 3 nights ago, I would have been asleep at that exact time. I stared at the grainy footage for a long time, waiting for something to happen, for someone to come into frame, for something to explain how this angle even existed. But nothing happened. It was just me, sleeping, shifting, breathing, sometimes twitching the way people do when they dream. After about 8 minutes of nothing, my curiosity turned into impatience. I pressed fast forward. The tape resisted. I don't mean metaphorically. I mean the button pushed back, like physical tension, like the machine itself didn't want me to do it. But it eventually clicked, and the footage sped up. That's when the room changed. In fast motion, my sleeping figure jerked, shifted, tossed. The shadows in the corners pulsed like they were alive. Some shape I couldn't fully identify moved across the far wall in a quick twitch. I paused, trying to rewind, but the screen flickered violently. Then the timestamp jumped. Forward, not backward. 10:42 a.m. Tomorrow. The footage was showing me sleeping tomorrow morning. I felt a cold sting across the back of my neck as I leaned closer. On the tape, I was lying in bed again, but this time something was standing beside me. A tall shape, a silhouette. No features, no face. Just a vertical mass of darkness, like someone cut the shape of a man out of the scene. It stood motionless, right next to my bed, watching me sleep. My breath tightened in my throat. I tried to pause the tape again, but the button jammed. Static ripped through the audio, loud and angry, like the tape itself was growling. The image warped, stretching the creature's silhouette longer, sharper, wronger. Then, sound bled through the distortion. A voice. Low. Grating. Like a whisper dragged through broken wires. Don't skip. I froze. I wasn't breathing. I wasn't thinking. The voice wasn't coming from the footage. It was coming through the speaker, alive and deliberate, like something was aware of me watching. Then the shape on the screen moved. Not quickly, not with a jump scare or sudden motion, but slowly, smoothly, purposefully. Its head turned toward the camera, toward me. Even though it had no visible face, I felt it staring, felt it seeing me through the screen. The timestamp jumped again. 3:07 p.m. Tomorrow. The future. The tape showed my front door swinging open, showed me walking in, showed me dropping my keys, showed me stopping, turning, looking behind me. And then something dragged me out of frame so fast my body blurred. I slammed the stop button with my palm. The machine whined, coughed, and finally ejected the tape like it was spitting out poison. My hand shook as I pulled the cassette free. A new sound started behind me. A soft, deliberate tapping on the wall directly behind my bed. 3 taps. Pause. 3 taps again. Exactly like in the footage. I turned slowly. The wall was silent now. Still. I didn't sleep that night. The next morning, I called in sick for work. I couldn't go in after what I saw. The fear didn't fade with daylight. If anything, it got worse. Every sound seemed louder. Every shadow felt heavier. I kept replaying the footage in my mind. That dark shape in my room, the way it turned toward me, the way it spoke. I would have convinced myself it was a hallucination if not for the sound. That afternoon, right around 3, someone knocked on my front door. A calm, steady knock. Exactly like in the tape. Exactly like the moment I was dragged away. I didn't move. 3 minutes passed. 5. 7. When I finally gathered the courage to peek through the blinds, there was no one outside. Just a package on the porch, smaller than the last one, a thin case like a DVD sleeve. A note taped to the front, written in the same handwriting as before.
You shouldn't have skipped. Inside the case was another tape. The label, "Please rewind."
I didn't touch the second tape for almost an hour. I just sat at the kitchen table staring at it while the morning sun crawled slowly across the tile floor like a spotlight I didn't want to stand in. The label, "Please rewind," fell heavier than the plastic it was written on, like the words themselves added weight. I kept thinking about the voice from the first tape, that broken, scraping whisper. The way it said, "Don't skip." Not like a threat, but like a rule. Like I had violated something ancient and unforgiving. Eventually, the silence in my house grew too loud. The air got thick, like the walls were leaning inward, waiting for me to do something, anything to relieve the pressure. So I plugged the VCR back in, slid the new tape inside, and hit play. This one didn't start with static. It started with breathing. Slow, wet, almost labored, like lungs dragging through mud. The image flickered into existence. A plain black screen, except for a white timestamp counting backwards. Hours, minutes, seconds. It wasn't footage, it was a countdown. And it was counting down to what? I didn't know. But as it ticked closer to zero, the breathing got louder, closer. Like something was standing right behind the camera, or standing right behind me. The countdown hit 00013, 00012, 00011. I felt my heart sinking with the rhythm, like I was being pulled into the tape's tempo. My palms were sweating. I hovered over the stop button, telling myself to eject it before it reached zero. But that's when the screen changed. The camera perspective shifted abruptly. No fade, no glitch, like someone ripped me out of one moment and slammed me into another. I was looking at myself again. Sleeping. Tomorrow night this time. The timestamp proved it. I looked smaller somehow in the footage. Frailer. Like all the fear had already eaten away a piece of me. The room was darker than it ever looked in real life, even at night. The shadows were thicker, like poured ink. And then I saw it again. The silhouette. The same tall, faceless figure from the first tape. But now, it was closer. It wasn't standing beside the bed. It was sitting on the edge of the bed. Sitting on my mattress, its weight making the sheets dip. My breath stuttered in my throat. The entity turned its head, or what should have been a head, but there was only distortion. A smear of static shaped like a skull stretched into an impossible angle. And then the room lights in the footage flickered. Not off, just enough to reveal details. The silhouette wasn't just watching me sleep. It was touching my arm. Its long fingers pressed into my skin. I slapped the pause button. The VCR whined and froze the image. I stumbled backwards so fast I hit the counter. My mouth went dry, every nerve firing signals that didn't make sense. I didn't want to look back at the TV, but I forced myself. The frozen frame showed the entity's hand, if you could call it a hand, resting on my sleeping forearm. The fingers weren't solid. They were smoke. Smoke, shaped like bones. I reached forward slowly, trying to eject the tape,
Before I could press the button, the TV screen flickered. The paused image warped and stretched, melting upward like wet paint pulled by invisible strings. Then, the voice returned. "Let it play." It came from everywhere. The TV, the VCR, the walls. My knees nearly buckled. I grabbed the back of a chair to steady myself. The tape unpaused on its own. The scene jumped forward, not fast-forwarded, but skipped, as if the tape was deciding what to show me. The timestamp now read, tomorrow, 3:07 p.m. The same moment I'd seen on the first tape. The moment my door opened. The moment I was dragged away. But this time, it showed me more. I watched myself enter, drop my keys, turn around. I tensed, waiting for the moment I disappeared off screen. But the tape played something new. My future self spoke. I never heard that part before. He was whispering, frantic, voice cracked with fear. "Don't fight it. If you fight it, it gets worse. Don't try to run. It knows when you run." I felt my stomach flip. My future self kept talking, panic building like a storm. "Whatever you do, don't rewind."
His words cut off. Something yanked him out of frame with a violent snap. I screamed and hit stop. The tape kept playing. I unplugged the TV. The tape kept playing. The image deteriorated into an ocean of static and shapes, faces, figures, hands reaching, rooms bending in on themselves. A chorus of whispers bled through the white noise, stacking on top of each other until my ears rang. Then, everything cut clean to black. Silence. And then the message appeared. Plain white text on the dark screen. "You will finish what you started. You will watch until the end. Don't make us take control again." My entire body froze. Us. Not me. Not I. Who the hell was us? Before I could process it, a soft, deliberate knocking started at the far end of the hallway. 3 knocks. Pause. 3 knocks again. The same pattern. The same rhythm. The same tapping from the wall in the first tape. The knocks grew louder. Closer. I forced myself to step forward, heart slamming into my ribs. When I reached the edge of the hallway, the knocking stopped. Silence swallowed the house again. Then my bedroom door opened slowly on its own. I didn't have the strength to move. Not at first, but I had to look. Inside my bedroom, placed gently on the pillow where my head would rest later that night, was another tape. Smaller, older, the label peeling. The words written on it in the same trembling handwriting. "Please stop trying to stop it. We are already here." I backed away, shaking. Then I saw the second line written underneath in smaller text. "This one is the last warning." And below that, in handwriting that looked almost human. "For your sake, don't fast forward."
I didn't sleep that night. I didn't even sit down. I paced my kitchen until sunrise, checking the hallway every few seconds like something invisible might crawl out of it. I kept telling myself I wouldn't play the third tape. I wouldn't. I couldn't. I shouldn't. But sunrise didn't make me feel safer. It only made the shadows sharper. I knew, deep down, that the tape wasn't going to sit quietly on my pillow forever. It wasn't waiting for me to choose. It was waiting for me to understand that there was no choice. By noon, my nerves were shredded. Every sound made me jump. My lights flickered every 20 minutes. The house felt wrong. Too warm in some spots, too cold in others. Like someone invisible was moving through it at will. Worst of all, every so often, I heard breathing in the walls. Not mice, not pipes. Breathing, slow, patient. Once, I even felt warm air on the back of my neck, like someone was standing right behind me. When the clock struck 3:07 p.m., the same time the tape showed me being dragged away, my front door rattled. Not a knock, not a breeze. Something pulled it. Something tried the handle. That was when I broke. That was when I realized watching the tape wasn't the danger. Avoiding it was. So, at 3:11 p.m., shaking hard enough to drop the cassette twice, I slid the third tape into the VCR. The screen went black for a long time. I almost thought it wasn't going to play. Then, a line of white text appeared. Thank you. My skin crawled. No tape should thank me. The text faded. Static whispered like wind through leaves. Then, the scene shifted into view. It wasn't my bedroom this time. It wasn't anywhere I recognized. It was a long hallway with peeling wallpaper and warped hardwood floors. The camera moved slowly forward, as if someone or something was carrying it. The air in the footage was thick with dust, drifting like snow. At the far end of the hallway, a door stood open. My voice came from inside the room, not the me watching the tape. Future me, or past me, or another me. My recorded voice whispered, "I told you, you can't stop it." The camera drifted into the room. That's when I saw myself. I was sitting on the floor, knees pulled to my chest, shaking violently. My eyes were red and swollen. My hair was messy, like I'd been pulling at it. I stared at the screen. I watched myself cry. But then, the camera angle lowered, like whatever held it crouched down, and the hand, long, dark,
smoke-made fingers entered the frame and rested on the shoulder of the future version of me. My other self flinched hard. But he didn't run. He didn't fight. He whispered, "Please, please don't make me watch again." The silhouette's head turned toward the camera, toward me. The tape glitched violently. The room bent. Walls bowed inward. The floor rippled like liquid.
Then a message appeared again in the corner, small, almost hidden in the distortion. Fast forward to understand. My blood went cold. This wasn't the warning anymore. This was the trap. I backed away from the VCR. I wasn't going to fast forward. Not again. Not after what happened the first time. But the VCR made a soft clicking noise. The same noise it makes when someone presses a button, except I didn't touch it. The tape began to fast forward on its own. "No!" I whispered. "Stop! Stop!" The footage sped ahead, blurring scenes of doors slamming, lights exploding, my future self screaming. Flashes of the silhouette twisting its body in impossible angles. Rooms collapsing inward. A hallway stretching like gum. 100 hands reaching through cracks in the walls. The VCR sped faster, faster, faster. The screen filled with shredded frames like someone was slicing time into ribbons. Then it stopped. Abruptly, violently. The timestamp in the corner said, "Today, 3:19 p.m." It was 3:19 p.m. right then. The footage showed my living room. Not past video, not future, right now. I was watching the tape, wearing the same clothes, standing in the same position. My heart hammered so hard it hurt. Then, a second version of me stepped into frame behind my first self. He walked silently, drained of color, shadows clinging to him like oil dripping down his body. He leaned close to the back of my neck, on screen. He whispered something. The me on TV froze, and then he turned. His eyes were pure static. I grabbed the VCR cord and ripped it out of the wall.
The tape kept playing. I pulled the whole machine up and slammed it on the ground. Plastic shattered, metal bent. The tape inside snapped in half. The footage on the TV flickered, but did not stop. The screen showed me, the static-eyed me, walking toward the camera. Toward me. Then the house shook. The hallway lights burst one by one. The bedroom door slammed. Something crawled inside my walls, dragging claws across the studs. The breathing behind me returned. Close. Too close. I turned slowly. There I was. A second me. A static-eyed me. Skin pale, body twitching like a corrupted frame of footage. His mouth opened wider than a human mouth should open. He whispered, "You shouldn't have fast-forwarded." The hallway behind him stretched open like a throat, dark, endless. Hands, hundreds, reached out from the blackness and grabbed me. I didn't scream. I couldn't. The air left my lungs like it was yanked out. The last thing I saw before the darkness swallowed me was the TV screen. The footage had changed. It showed a new scene. My house. My living room. Empty. Silent. A timestamp blinked in the corner. Tomorrow, 8:41 p.m. The camera panned slowly toward the front door. Someone walked in. Not me. Someone wearing my clothes. Someone with my face. He looked straight into the lens, and he whispered in my voice, "Please don't rewind." The screen cut to black. And somewhere deep inside the darkness, something whispered, "Next tape loading."